Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome everyone, it's Drayton Boylston here with the one and only Mr. Gary Henson.
Hello everybody, it's great to be on the call again this month, and I am fired up once again. We got some great material for you, so take it away, Mr. Boylston.
Yeah, this is the Coaching Crucible, so if you signed up for that, you're in the right place, and Gary's so fired up he's actually levitating. I have that on good authority.
I am.
And today, folks, we've got just an action-packed hour for you. You'll see on the screen right now, and let's do a call to action, Gary, about this YouTube channel. So we want you to go to the YouTube channel, just search Executive Coaching University. You will find all of the Crucible recordings here. And just a show of hands, if you could raise your hand and just let us know that you are hearing us and you're seeing the screen appropriately. If you would do that for us, we'd greatly appreciate it. Show of hands, thank you so much. Victoria and oh, this is cool. You've got some cool names going on here. Wow, beautiful. Sharona, thank you so much. Martha, boy, Marcy, boy, we've got a lot of people clicking on right now. So please go to our YouTube channel, Executive Coaching University, and this is where Gary and I have put up all of the Crucible recordings. And see this nice button over here, this subscribe button? If you subscribe, you'll automatically, every time we do a Crucible, the recording, as soon as we post the video, which is usually within 24 hours, you'll automatically be notified and you can access it. So whether you can join us live or not, you'll still get the recordings. And if you look here, we have put, Gary, I think we've got 30 some odd recordings here. All the Crucibles, wow. Everything that we've done for the last over 2.5 years. And to our knowledge, this is the greatest concentration of complimentary coaching training on YouTube. So please take advantage of this. If you want to go to YouTube right now and click on it, subscribe, that would be awesome. But just know that we want you to get these recordings so you have them. So if you can't stay with us, we have 1,700 people, over 1,700 people signed up for the Crucible, and not everyone certainly can join us live. And we have a tremendous amount of people that follow us and listen to it afterwards. So please take advantage of this. We've worked hard to get all of these loaded up for you, and just go through the training. And you know, we've got so many different subjects here. Gary, I was just looking at this a little bit earlier today, and we created the best of the Coaching Crucible. So we've got all these different subjects, how to make money as a coach, all these different subjects that we have covered over the last 2.5 years. This one, Success Steps, is a great one. So, great one. Sorry, complimenting ourselves, but we think it's powerful. So we hope you enjoy it, not to toot our own horns. So go in YouTube, search Executive Coaching University. It's just Executive Coaching U, or Coach U. You can see it up here. This is the URL. So Executive Coach U at YouTube. So we'd appreciate it if you did that, and hopefully it'll make your lives a little bit easier too. You don't have to search for all the recordings. So
let me jump in here.
Yeah, please, Gary.
Let me just compliment you guys for the work that you've done and the work that we've done on there. And it just occurred to me that when you have over 1,000 people in a community, you're beginning the first stages of a movement. And I think at this point, when we add today's people on the call and people that might be listening or somehow find the YouTube site, once we get over 2,000 people in the entire community, I call it a movement, and that's exactly what we want to do. We want to create a movement of material and on these calls monthly to get them live. And I'll remind some of you that may be listening to some recording that if you're live, oftentimes we open it up for questions and live coaching at the end of the call. So as we create this movement, we want you to let other people know that this is free, non-commercial material that Drayton and I are posting our commitment is to do two things. Number one, give back to the industry and give back to the coaching industry, which has been our profession for 25 plus years, our professions together. And then the other thing is that we want to get the word out. There's a lot of really, really bad info out there. There's a lot of bad material. And I'm not going to point fingers or names, but we feel like we're not bragging by saying our material's spot on, but we have checked ourselves. We have checks and balances that Drayton and I have gone over some of this material, and we have been around long enough that we feel like the stuff that we share with you is not off the top of our head. It's not stuff that we're experimenting in a test tube with y'all. We are bringing solid executive coaching, business coaching, high-end coaching products and conversations to you, productions and conversations to you that we feel is the best of the best, not because it's our material, because a lot of our material I got from our clients and from other coaches and other people around the industry, but it's not the stuff that we're putting out there to make money on and then, good luck, we hope it works for you. It's stuff that we've been using over and over and over, and it works for our individual communities as well. And so let's get a movement going. Let's get other people involved here, and maybe down the road, Drayton and I might bring some of the best people in the industry in on some of these calls and some new material that's not even our material, but we want you to succeed. Our goal is to bring you material that will have your coaching practice thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Drayton.
Well, Gary, that's so well said. And truly, Gary and I were just talking about this before we clicked on today, the movement piece. Coaching is gaining acceleration all over the world. We hear it from so many different quarters, and we need to help accelerate it even more. There are not enough good coaches out there. The demand is so much greater than the supply. And I know some of you might be out there going, boy, I'm having a tough time getting clients. And, well, boy, we're going to talk about some ways to remedy that today and certainly in future sessions. But there are a lot of people out there that need us. And we've done programs. Gary, we did a program called Coaching is the Cure for This Crisis. And it's true. We believe it's the case, and there's a crisis in so many different ways around the world, just in terms of lack of engagement, lack of good leaders, and all these various things that we're trying to address. So spread the word and bring your people to this or other trainings. But our intent here is to provide tangible, bulletproof, completely proven training that we've been using for a long, long time with great success. That's why we're doing this. So as we march through the rest of 2015, we're going to be talking about tangible things. Gary's going to be going over one of his really powerful workbooks today. I'm going to show you a program that we just launched and how to do things like that quickly, and also talk about some things that are kind of behind the scenes that lead up to these things happening. So the first thing Gary and I want to talk about today is come back to what we discussed last session. And if you recall, last session we were talking about the importance of a process, having a methodology that you employ in your business. And I wanted to see any questions around that. Gary, we just got a comment here from Anthony. Hey, Gary, thanks for sharing your client assignment reading list. Yeah, that's what we're here to do. So, and Gary had a lot of requests for that list and shared it. If you, Gary, I'll offer up that again if you don't mind. If you would like to get that list, Gary, I'm sure would be happy to send it to you. And Gary, let's close that loop on the whole process methodology thing. What would you like the folks to hear?
Well, again, later on in the call, I'm going to give some information about our part of our methodology, part of our system, which we call our client workbook. But I want to say a couple of things. First of all, if you don't have a system, if you don't have a methodology, if you don't have a plan for your clients that would take you through a whole year, then A, you've come to the right place. We're going to talk more about that today. And B, you're not really coaching. You've got to have a process And hopefully I got some material to Drayton late today. Hopefully later on in the call we can put it on your computer screen. But the point is that you've got to have a way to take your clients from A to B to C to D to E. And again, it's malleable enough, it's workable enough so that each client is a little bit different. So you're able to accommodate their goals different than another client's goals, their objectives, their vision, their purpose and direction different than other clients. But you've got to be practicing a system to walk them through so that at the end of a coaching session, you leave them with a set of assignments, and that assignments is going to have them grow themselves. It's going to have them expand their base of information and knowledge and wisdom so that they're growing and becoming better and better. Now, I'm going to be a little selfish here, Drayton, and just say it this way. I know my buddy Drayton, and I know that he's committed to growing and expanding himself. He does this in a number of ways. He writes books. He takes courses. He invests in conversations with his internal team, his external team, his clients. He's learning, growing himself all the time, and bringing that stuff back into the mix, into the quality of the coaching that he does. And he's a better person, I would presume, for doing that because he's constantly looking at ways to get better as a father, as a business person, as a husband, as a human being, as ways he can contribute to the world. And if I don't think that's necessarily for everybody, but the clients that you coach, they should be thinking in terms of what part of my ordinary life can I shift to become extraordinary, or how can I get better, how can I grow myself? And that's what coaching is all about, and that's what leading people or being a stand for people is all about in that process. And if you don't have a system, if you don't have a curriculum, if you don't have a methodology to take them through, then you're winging it, and maybe you're really good at winging it. But I find that I forget certain things in coaching clients, and yes, I still do carry a client load and coach clients, and the clients that I coach, sometimes I go back to the client workbook, sometimes I go back to the reading, sometimes I go back to their assignments and say, whoa, I missed this step, and it's an integral step to walk them through. And again, we call this a methodology. You can call it whatever you want. Drayton's program at Executive Coaching University, they do it differently than we do, but they have a system. They have a process that people are put through and become part of. And what I shared last month was not the recommended reading. I have to stop that habit. It's not recommended. It is the reading process. The books that we have found, out of all of the best-selling books, we have found certain books, about 15 or 20 of them, that are reading for our clients that fit our methodology, and our methodology is based on, it's entrenched in transformation. That is the process of people going through the steps of a caterpillar to a cocoon to a butterfly, and actually having a metamorphosis take place in their life. And we believe strongly at businesscoach.com that you can't be on the transformation trail and get off and get on and get off and get on. I mean, you can choose to do that, but the way to really transform your life is to commit to that and stay transforming your life by constantly reading, growing yourself, having a coach, being coached, being put through a methodology that has you constantly reaching for the next ring, whatever that next ring is. Now, you can go whatever pace you want to go, but transformation will disappear for people just like a rubber band will always go back to its original form once it's let go. So Drayton and I are really committed, really want to empower you to put together a system, and you don't have to follow ours, you don't have to copy ours. We just want to give you tools and ways that you can learn from us so that you can create your own methodology if that's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I love that. We do have to stay committed to growing ourselves and set that example for our clients. We don't want to be 10 feet tall and bulletproof, yet we want to set that example. I think that's just wonderful counsel to give to people. Just focus on being a professional around some of these things. Without a process, quite frankly, just to be really blunt, you're not a professional coach. You're not an executive coach or a business coach without a process. So it's such an integral part that we're passionate about. So go back and listen to last month's session and see what a process looks like and see what you need to do there. And Gary, we had a number of people ask for your email address again so that they can get a copy of that list. Would you just offer that up to everybody?
Yes, sure. You can just simply send it to my primary email address, Gary@businesscoach.com, Gary@businesscoach.com, and if you just want to put in the subject line "free stuff," that'll make it real easy if I have to go through my spam or another area.
Yeah.
If I have to go through my spam or another area to find it, I'll look for the subject line "free stuff."
Okay, excellent, excellent. Thank you, Gary. And I will tell you, we got a lot of comments from the last session, and one of the ones that I got was from a colleague of mine who's been a coach at a very high level for a long period of time. And he called me or sent me a note, and he said, "Boy, I've got to kick it into gear. I have gotten away from my process, and I'm doing my clients a disservice." And that's a very, very experienced and expensive coach.
Amen.
Hey, Gary, I think we've got our fellow organizer who may want to put it on mute there.
Yeah, Victor, if you could go back on mute. I think you went off mute there.
There we go.
Sounds better. Thank you.
I think we're good. Okay, so just keep in mind that even successful coaches can kind of slide away from what is needed and get sloppy and not give their clients everything that they have. So please keep that in mind. Well, now, Gary and I were talking earlier, and this really stems from what happened. We had an Executive Coaching University team call a little bit earlier today, and shout out to my guys for giving me the inspiration for this. We were talking about the creation of new programs, new products, things like that, and who do we do these things for, and how do we go about it? And one of the things that Jenna Forster came up with, she said, you know, I'm through with creating things that I think people will want. And I was a little bit taken aback at first. I went, wow, that's interesting. And so, you know, tell us more about what you're thinking. And she said, what I know is that when I have such an irrefutable passion play about birthing something and getting it out into the world, that's where I want to go. She said, what I know is that if I show up in the creation of that program, let's say a new program for ECU, and I have that kind of commitment and passion around this particular subject, it's going to be successful because it will really speak to the people that it needs to. And it really got me thinking around this whole subject, and I just wanted to relate something that's very, very personal for me that just happened in the last month that really points to this. For years, I have been thinking about creating a program that integrates athleticism, so working out, group coaching, and mindfulness or meditation. And I think this is just the three legs to a beautiful stool that I wanted to create in some fashion. And I'll take you back to the end of November, early December, and I'll show you a page here. If I could just show of hands, do you guys see the Active Exec Coaching Program? If you could just raise your hand and let me know if you see this right now. There we go. Thank you, Dan, and all your others too. Appreciate it. So I wanted to walk you through how a program's created and what it looks like and how quickly you can do these things. This was an idea until December of last year, simply an idea. And I sat down and I was chatting with a colleague of mine, and by the way, this is just an invitation-only program, not selling anything here. This is a locally based program, which I'll show you in a minute, for executives in the Denver area. But I wanted to give you an idea of what a passion play looks like and how you can use that to create things in your business. I was so passionate about this program, I told people I will do this for an audience of one if need be, because it doesn't matter to me. I want to get this out to the world, and I'm so fired up about this, nothing else matters. I'm going to do this, and if people feel like that's a good fit for them, that's wonderful. And I just started letting people know about it. And again, I was going to do this no matter what. So I came up with this program. It's called Active Exec, and helping people, executives, create a 360-degree life. And you can see it's invitation only. This is just going, it went out to clients, to friends, to colleagues, neighbors, people that, just a handful of people to start with that I wanted to spend time with. And I had so much passion about this that it was going to be unstoppable. And we just finished our first month. We thought this program through in December, laid the groundwork with this landing page, got all the details of the program, finished in January, launched in February. That's how quickly. So within really about 45, 60 days max, this program was live. And I was so fired up about this. Like we were saying, Gary was levitating earlier. I was levitating. Our first session, I was giddy because this is everything I wanted to do. And all I did was speak my heart. So you look at the wording here, and you guys can find this. If you just go to Active Exec, ACTIVE, exec, EXEC.com, activeexec.com, you'll see this landing page. And use this as an example for something you guys might want to create at some point. But I want to give this to you so you can see how quickly you can put these things out to the world and start having a profound effect. I will tell you, we did the first session, and it was CEOs, it was CFOs, it was executive director, and the executive director said in our group session after we did our mindfulness training at the very end, he took a deep breath and he looked at us and he goes, I am blown away. He goes, this is a life changer for me. Now, I get welled up when I think about that. That's what we're here to do. That's what, when we help people do things like that and have that kind of reaction to something we're offering, it is a life changer for an individual. And you know what's going to happen? That individual is going to go back to their workplace, and already has. We've already heard what has happened with his transformation and how it ripples out to his entire organization. And the things that are coming up for him and the changes he's making for himself and with his people, it's unbelievably cool. So you can go through, see, we wanted to help people feel alive again. One of the most harrowing statistics that I've run across in the last year is that the biggest, and this is where we talk about going narrow and deep, right? And Gary and I have talked about that when we talk about your niche and what you need to focus on. This is narrow, 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 and very deep, deep, deep. The reason I created this, one of the reasons, is that I am so concerned about the suicide rate for men 45 to 65. It is the highest rate of suicide in the world, any age group, any gender, and it's going like a hockey stick straight up. And I'm going to do all I can within my power to help stem that. And I'm not saying the guys that are involved with this program are that, going in that direction. What I will say is that they never will if they keep this up. And the people around them, we're teaching them, coaching them to be aware of their peer groups and how they can help those folks seek help if they're going down that path. And that's what we want to do. So we help folks in all these areas of their lives, this 360-degree life. We put a whole worksheet together about this. And again, go to activeexec.com and follow this format. And when you create one of your programs, feel free to. That's why we're doing this. So we've got all the details of the program. I'm not charging much money because, again, this is a passion play. This is all we're charging. That's it. And they get workouts, coaching, group coaching, mindfulness training. And I'll do it for free. That's just the way I approach this. So this was the first session. We did it. We had about 6 inches of snow, and we ended up, I'll show you what we ended up doing, the bear crawl, and we ended up doing some sledding, pulling people in sleds, and it was just such a hoot. But the reality is this is a passion play, and we approach this, we have our commitments to them, their commitments to each other, which is huge. And again, these are things you just want to cover. This is a landing page or sell page, whatever you want to call it. But the whole crux of this is, and what I want to get across is that whatever you may be thinking about doing in terms of program creation or a product or something like that, go to where your passion is. This is where my passion is, helping these folks grow and become better human beings. And this is, I would love to do this every day of the week. It's so much fun. And so that's following my passion, and that's why I created this program, and that's why it came so easily. This entire copy on this sell page I did in about 90 minutes. I just let it pour forward from my heart, and I envisioned the people that I wanted to be involved in this, and I knew the commitments that I was going to make to them. These are our commitments and what we do for them. So we're very, very clear about setting those mutual expectations. And the response has been wonderful. The people that we've brought in are just incredible. You may recognize this here. This is Red Rocks Amphitheater, one of the most beautiful spots in the world. This is one of the places we'll be working out. And it resonates so deeply with me that I could not keep it in. So what I'd like to do now, Gary, and I'd like for you to just post here what fires you up. What just comes to mind right now when you think about, I have to get this out and I have to serve this group of people no matter what. So give us some ideas. Just send a note to us here in the console and let us know what you're thinking about and what fires you up. And the best coaching we can give you at this point is follow that. Follow that passion. And know that it's the right thing. And so many people worry about, okay, I'm going to create this program and so is doing something similar. Should I do this? Don't be an also-ran. Figure out what fires you up and bring that forward. That's the key. Gary, what would you like to say around all this?
Number one, I'm really grateful that you shared this, because you could talk about this and we wouldn't get the picture that this page is showing and these pictures are showing, number one. And number two, I just want to emphasize to people that you and I, by you talking about this, you and I are spot on our topic, i.e. the point is that you showed them an example of how to lay out a complete program. And in this case, it's something that you're really, really, really passionate about. And it's just really great to see, well, first of all, hear you talk about it, and so that people can get who you're being, your passion about this whole process, number one. And number two, to have people understand how you can lay something out. And again, this is as simple as it gets. And I'm glad you said the 90 minutes piece, because that's how long it takes me to come up with a program, oftentimes, sometimes longer, sometimes less, a program or a process or a methodology that I want people to come through. It doesn't take long to outline it, because I just listen to my heart and just let it flow out onto the paper. And that's what you've exampled to us here, and that's what we needed to hear and see and get from you, so that we are clear on how to lay something out that is your passion and that you can have other people follow.
Yeah, and it's search in your gut for this, folks, and just go quiet. If you have time after this session today or tonight or tomorrow morning, go quiet and see what percolates for you. See what really stirs your soul to the point where you're jumping out of bed in the morning, because that will be contagious. Contagious. I told our group after our first session, I said, Gary, we got everybody rounded up and we were talking, I said, gosh, I feel like I need to go smoke a cigar because I just gave birth. And and certainly, given that, you know, what I'm showing you here, we're not going to be smoking any cigars, but that's the way I felt. I felt like it was a baby that just had to be birthed, and that's what we did. And you can do these things quickly, and if you have the passion and you know your audience. Again, when we talk about defining your niche and speaking, you know, in a very narrow and deep way, it doesn't get much more narrow and deeper than this. I mean, this is for C-level people that are drivers, alphas, that will commit one morning a week. We're doing this Friday mornings from 7 to 8:30 Mountain Time. They'll commit to being there for themselves, the people they lead, and the other people in this group. And it's a real deep commitment. And this is our, you know, for this particular program, this is our tribe, man. These guys will be in the bunker for each other forever. And when you can create something like that, that's where the magic happens. So figure out who's your tribe. And if you follow your passion and you think about your experience, all these gifts you've been given over the course of your lifetime, that will be where you need to go. So we just wanted to share this with you because it was really inspired from that conversation I had with our team today. And it's such an important point and part of my life. At this point in my life, I don't do anything. I do my best not to do anything unless I'm fired up about it. And when you show up and come from that place, when you create programs, you will be amazed with what kind of success that you can have. So I hope that helps. Just drop a note, any questions, just go to the console. I love this comment from Kathleen, Gary. What fires me up is the thought of working with students and helping them to become clear on what it is they want to do relative to their careers. I'm passionate about people being happy at work. I'll give that a big amen, Kathleen, because we need to work on that. That's one of the things we do every single day, is help people with that, the levels of engagement and fulfillment, all of those things in the workforce, and we need more people doing that. So congrats to you. And Gary, I know we've been clicking off time-wise here. Do you want me to go ahead and put up your workbook and to have at it?
Yeah, if you can, I know I got that to you the last minute, so let's just stay on this particular slide right here. And whenever you're ready for me to get into one of my sermons, Pastor Gary is ready to let it rip.
Yep, I've got it showing for everybody to see right now, the business coaching, and just tell me when you want me to toggle through. Okay,
good. So I want to mirror on what Drayton has been talking about. And, you know, Drayton, I didn't realize the nerve that we hit here. I mean, this is really touching my heart, and it's really, really gut-wrenching for me to have this conversation last month and this month. I'm so glad we've recorded this because I didn't realize, you know, this is such second nature to you and I after 25 years. I didn't realize the nerve that we hit, not only in the listeners, and I'm watching the emails come in to my inbox, but for myself. And it just occurred to me when you said that it took you 90 minutes and you put this together and you were explaining what these people were doing and the movement and your passion around it. It's absolutely perfect that we're talking about this topic, and it's absolutely perfect that we're asking individuals to have a methodology and a process, and it now combines the topic of being passionate about what you do, and other people will get it and want to be on board and follow you, and passionate about being a professional coach. So let me just talk about being a professional for just a minute. A professional coach, someone who's committed to an occupation. So that would mean ultimately you're full-time. Ultimately you have a methodology. Ultimately you have brought your passion into a program that you want people to get behind and learn from you and get coaching from you so that they can get better in their lives. We've been talking about that this entire call. So what I want to say to you is, if you're going to be a professional, you can absolutely positively understand and be prepared that you're going to come up against all odds. There's going to be times that you're going to get knocked down. There's going to be times when nobody signs up for your program. Or there's going to be times when people tell you the price is too much. Or there's going to be times when people drop out of your program a month or 2 or 3 after being part of your program. But what's going to carry you through is your commitment, your passion, your relentless pursuit of your professional program methodology system that you have, that you know that it is for people in your tribe, in your community, or maybe you don't have that many people in your tribe, your community. Maybe you're going out and you're speaking to groups, you're locating groups, you're online, you're blogging, you're getting your word out, the word out on Facebook, or it's on your LinkedIn page or whatever, so that you can create a following of people that are interested in what it is that you are taking them through. Like Kathleen says, she wants people to enjoy what they do and be excited about what they do. I don't remember all that she said, but she was articulate about what she's passionate about. And you heard Drayton talk about that, and you heard Drayton indicate that he put this together, and then somewhere in there he just kind of lightly slipped in, I would do this for free, because he's so passionate and so committed to helping a particular group of people that when, let's just say he invited 100 people and 10 people showed up or signed up, whatever the percentages or ratios are, he knew that he found the right people. He knew that he found people and reached people that were committed, because out of a percentage of all possible people that were invited, a percentage of people showed up, and you could see the excitement in the photos. You could see people, and some of it maybe wasn't fun for the people to go through. Maybe some of it was hard. Maybe they weren't planning on it snowing that day when they did the outdoors part. But they did it because they were with like-minded people. They were following a passionate leader, and they were following a program that had meat to it, that had content that they could get behind, and they trusted the leader because they knew he was a professional. So the first thing I wanted to have you be committed to is being a professional. And the second thing is, I think I would be remiss if I didn't point out to you that a coaching practice is not a practice, it's a business. And this is another distinction that Drayton and I want to bring to the table. You are a business person. You are a professional, and you are running a business, not a practice. And so therefore, it is incumbent upon you to have a system, a process, or whatever that people follow through. So last month I shared the reading assignments. We've talked around and about this workbook process. The workbook is part of our methodology. At businesscoach.com, we call it a methodology, the process, and the client workbook parallels that of our methodology. And the methodology, again, is based on transformation. We want people to be game changers, and we want to alter people's lives, like Drayton talked about in the program that he showed you. And therefore, you've got to be prepared to do that, and you've got to have materials, quotes, not recommended reading, reading assignments, workbooks, a methodology and a process to take them through that follows what it is that you want them to change their life for, be committed to change or a life changer. So the first slide, Drayton's, these slides are, unfortunately, I wasn't prepared to do them in the size of the webinar that we have set up. But the first slide is merely a definition of business coaching. So we want people to know what they're signing up for. This second slide, keep going, Drayton, you're doing great, defines the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. This is what, again, these are pages out of our client workbook, and these are part of our methodology. We want people to understand that when they sign up for our programs, Victor, you might want to remute your phone there again. When they sign up for our programs, that we are taking them from ordinary to extraordinary. This process is designed for people to see distinctions, and these pages out of the client workbook help them to do assignments and review and do homework so that each week in between the coaching sessions they have a chance to grow. And again, these are just examples of the pages inside the client workbook. Can you go to the next page, please, Drayton? So inside of the assignments, there's also quotes, and we want them to look at quotes that have them move forward, and distinctions. In this case, it's when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And the second one is things that matter most should never be at the mercy of things that matter least. So these are again, in our methodology and in the client workbook, some of these quotes are in here because they become learning sessions for the leaders and then handouts for the employees. So they can take any one of 260 plus pages of these different pages in the client workbook and use them as handouts, and then they give them out to the employees as they go along. Could you go to the next one, please, Drayton? Okay, here's another process that we use, again, part of our methodology, and that is we believe that the three biggest areas where people can take a look at in their business, and Victor, I think you need to check your mute again, please. If you're on top of this, Victor, we're getting an echo in the background, so please mute your phone. Things that people can get and focus on are what's working, what's not working, and what's missing in their business. So we're typically looking at businesses that have employers that have employees, and the employees, we want them to focus with their employees, make lists of things that are working, what's not working, what's missing. Again, just different distinctions for them to take a look at and work on in between coaching sessions. Thank you, Drayton. Please go to the next slide. Then we give them, this is typically one of the documents that we use before they hire us as a business coach. Different things, reasons to hire a coach, and there's different pieces to that as well. And for those of you that are going to get the reading assignments from me, you're going to get this particular slide. I'll include all 10 of these pages, so you can refresh your memory, which is also going to be on the YouTube side. Okay, you can go to the next one, please. Great. Here's another quote that is have people understand a little bit more about transformation. The world that we have made as a result of the thinking that we have done thus far creates problems that we cannot solve at the level that we created them. So that's a quote from Albert Einstein that we've included as something that we want people to understand in the coaching process. And again, it becomes a handout for the employees as well. If you can go to the next slide, please, Drayton. Okay, so the next two are part of the backbone of our methodology. So if you look at the methodology as a transformational process that people walk through, there's two areas that we have people do a very strong focus on. The story that they have and that they've created for themselves, so their story, and the difference, the antidote to the story is called being accountable. So what we want to address is for people to, in our methodology, is for people to understand that if you run your life based on the story that you've been telling yourself all of your life, you're going to get the same thing that you have been getting all of your life. But if you take a look at this document, and again, you can access this on the YouTube account, or I'll include this to those of you that email me, Gary@businesscoach.com. You can make a choice, and you can become accountable to something bigger than your story. And the document at the bottom of the page says, inquiry, how much better could you perform if you had an accountability partner to hold you accountable? And who's holding you accountable now? So these are questions that people can ask themselves in the process, okay? And then the next slide is where we'll leave it off, Drayton. I think there's a number of slides here, but I'll leave it with this. As part of our methodology is having the clients understand that we are walking them through a process, and that during that first 6 months, we want them to have a glimpse of some of the things that they're going to be doing, holding themselves accountable to some of the processes that they're going to be responsible for in this coaching process. And in the first 6 months, we actually have them see what that looks like. And it has them see the steps that they're going to be taking in the process of becoming more and more and more better at becoming an entrepreneur, at becoming more professional, at becoming a stronger leader in their organization. Areas that they can, in some cases, hand some of these areas, some of these documents out and talk to their employees about, and have the employees see that they're shifting the way that they're doing business and becoming more credible as a leader. And so this document shows them some of the steps that we'll be taking, some of the assignments that they'll be doing, and some of the processes that they'll be walking through so they can be prepared to be as coachable as humanly possible in their coaching relationship, and grow and expand themselves and get better and better as they go through the steps of being coached. And again, all of this is in the client workbook, all this is in the process, all this is part of the methodology of them committing to something that is bigger than their story, it's bigger than who they've been, it's bigger than anything that they've done before, and we prepare them with all of these pieces to the methodology so that they can work on assignments, work on growth, work on reading in between coaching sessions. And in our case, the coaching sessions are about once a week for 60 to 90 minutes, and they have about 2 to 3 hours per week in assignments that they do in between coaching sessions so that they can get better and that they can get stronger as the coaching process goes. Drayton, back to you. That's what I wanted people to get. I wanted to get a taste of what ours is all about, and how we work with our clients to have them be part of a process.
Yeah, it's really well done, Gary, and we hope this points out the options here. So when you think about a client, you think about how long that client may be with you. We know sustainable change takes at least 6 months. Forget the 21 days things. To make a really sustainable change, it's 6 months. And you know, the bane of coaches' existence, a lot of coaches, is they have turnover, right? So they have a client, they last a month or two or three, and then boom, they're gone. Well, we feel and we know one of the culprits is not having a process where I love this, outlining 6 months. So your commitment is minimum 6 months. Here's what we're going to be doing, and you're setting the expectation from day one that they're going to be with you at least 6 months, at least. And we tell people at least a year. So you look at, there's a reason business coaching, executive coaching engagements last at least 3 times longer than life coaching engagements. It's for this very reason. Now, that being said, if you do not have a process, a good process, you'll be just like the life coaches out there. And you'll have turnover, and in fact, it's going to be tough for you to recruit business people, either executives or business owners, entrepreneurs, without a process. So look at what Gary's folks do. They go through every single month. They set that expectation to at least 6 months. Here are the things we're going to cover. And what else happens during this? They are building tremendous perceived value. So Gary, what happens when you've got a prospective client and you show them something like this? What kind of reactions have you gotten over the years?
Well, I think there's a lot of reactions, but the main one that I hear over and over again is that we thought that coaching was something else. We thought that the life coaches that we've talked to that wanted to coach our business described something, and it wasn't this. And we didn't realize you had a process, a system, a methodology to take us through, and they get very, very encouraged by knowing that it's not a fly by the seat of the pants process.
Yeah, would you repeat that last statement?
It's not a fly by the seat of their pants process.
Yes, and here, let's hit it head on. So a lot of you may have been trained in certain coaching methodologies and this life coaching approach to just inquire, question, and let the client meander, and that's the way coaching works. And we're here to tell you that may work in the life coaching world. It will not work and has never worked in the business and executive coaching space. It just does not. They're going to throw you out on your ear if you just take the approach that a lot of these coaching schools advocate. Gary, would you agree with that?
Absolutely, 100%. And business people are focused on ROI. Drayton, as you know, return on investment is an integral part of what they invest in any business expense that they have. Any investment that they make in their business, they're looking at ROI. I bring that up in the first part of every session that I meet with somebody that is a potential client. We start talking about their return on investment, and I typically say that our target is a minimum 3-time return on investment. Now, we walk them through a little schematic, and I draw it out on a piece of paper what that's like. But basically, if you are looking to do these things, increase your sales, increase your bottom line profits, increase your employee productivity, put together a plan that is something that you and your team will follow, set goals that are higher than and so on and so forth. If you commit to these things, and we write them all out, it's part of the agreement that we have with them. If you do those things, and you're going to be coachable, and that's the goals, you should be expecting a minimum, and that's conservative, 3-time return on your investment.
And I think one of the important points about that is you need to be prepared to have those kinds of conversations. If this is freaking you out to hear about ROI and some of these other things, this is where we're talking about personal growth and reading and listening and all these things to expand your level of expertise. This is what the business folks want and need to hear. things like ROI, like business impact. We work a lot with impact. So if you work with us, how is it going to impact that individual, and therefore how is it going to impact the business? What are the tangible things that will be different? We ask people to project out 6 months. We work together. So in 6 months, how will you and how will the business be better? And manage to those. And we use 360-degree assessments, and we actually measure the level of impact, and that is really a big deal in the business world. So if you just have, oh, I like this, Anthony, return on impact. Yeah, return on impact. So what is the return on this impact? So if we help, I think about an organization we work with a few years ago. So we helped them go from 100 million in sales to $500 million in less than 3 years. Now, do you think that was a powerful impact for them? And do you think they had an issue paying us a lot of money? It was off the charts, the level of impact, and that's what you need to be prepared to chat about with your prospective clients. How are you going to impact their business? All this fluffy stuff, which I love the fluffy stuff, and we get into fluffy stuff with our clients and the gut-felt, heart-wrenching, good, deep, personal work. We do that. And we translate that into how's it going to impact their business. So yes, we do this magical thing called coaching, and we help individuals become better leaders, better people, better contributors to society, and we help them impact their business. And that's the kind of conversations we need to have around these things, and that's where you'll get traction with your prospects when you're ready to talk about this kind of work. If you start out with the fluffy stuff and they ask you about your process and you said it's based on just, questioning and it's up to the client, all this stuff you've maybe been taught, that you're not going to get any engagements. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. We go through the door of business nomenclature, business speak, in order to do this magical thing called coaching. So you have to, yeah, go ahead, Gary.
And let me add to that, Drayton. I want to give an exact opposite example of what you said. So, for example, I worked with a prominent leader a number of years ago, and this guy sat through an hour presentation with me, and he said, I just don't see how you can help me. And then we got down to the point about how many hours was he working, and he hired me sort of as a leadership coach at the beginning of the process. And working on his leadership style, working on his delegating work, he went from working 70 hours a week to 15 hours a week, but the return on investment went up in all the areas that he was leading his people. He started seeing incremental 2%, 3%, 5% increases in sales and profits in different areas of his business because he became a better leader. So he started out thinking that coaching couldn't help him and that he just wanted to work on himself personally at the very beginning of the relationship. And as his leadership expanded, as we got into helping him do trainings and doing other processes, he started delegating, and the ROI was over the top, even though it wasn't the same kind of focus maybe that you worked with your client. He eventually, through delegating and becoming a better leader, increased ROI in every department in his company.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's the net of all this. If we help individuals become better people, better contributors, the impact on the organization will be massive. And how do you do that? You do it with a process. So, Gary, I think that horse is dead. We've been beating it for a little while here.
Yes, sir.
So if you have any questions, feel free on the YouTube channel. You can post comments and questions, and Gary and I will certainly respond in kind. If you have suggestions for future sessions, we always love to hear that as well. And, the email address again, Gary. So Gary@businesscoach.com for Gary's email address.
Yes, Gary at businesscoach.com.
And if you need anything of us, you just let us know, and please go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, Executive Coach U, search Executive Coaching University. And as we started out today, Gary and I were talking about the movement. And whatever you can do to help us out, just get that movement going and share this with people and share the training. The more we do this, the more we're going to heighten the market awareness for the things that all of us do collectively. And that's really what we're here to do. So with that, we send our many blessings to you, and if we may be of service, please let us know. And until this time next month, Gary, you want to sign off?
Yeah, thanks everybody. Let's keep the movement rolling. Let's grow it. And next month we'll have another great topic for you to learn and grow your coaching business.
Everybody take good care. We'll see you next month.
Bye-bye.